Today on the Fresh Run Club, my race recap of the 2023 Winterlaufe in Frankenmuth, Michigan. Welcome back to the Fresh Run Club. Today's video, I'm giving a race recap, the 2023 Winterlaufe, which takes place in Frankenmuth, Michigan. So you may have heard of the Volkslauf. I got second in my age group one time, which is probably my greatest adult running accomplishment. They also have a winter version of the race called the Winterlaufe, which is German for winter race. And I signed up without truly thinking about what it means to run a race at the beginning of February. So unsurprisingly, it's Michigan. It was brutally cold, so I went to the race solo. I wasn't sure if my family was going to have anywhere to go during the race. It's an 8K race. That's about 4.98 miles. I am not in great shape, but I was excited about the race, so I made the journey from Frankenmuth, Michigan. I decided to wear my Alpha Fly, so when I pulled up in the parking lot, I didn't see a ton of people there, so I was like, hey, maybe there's a chance that I can get a trophy. In this race, the top two get a trophy, so I said, you know what? In my age group, there's a shot, so I'm going to give myself the best chance, and that is the Alpha Flies as opposed to the Invincibles. So I parked, and then I went to the Bavarian Inn restaurant, which was kind of like race HQ. So there was a nice little spot, like some kind of conference room, German themed conference room that was warm for one. That was the best thing. They had some chairs and tables, and that's where packet pickup was. So I picked up my packet. This race, they have a very cool thing. They have like an economy plan. So instead of paying the full race fee, it's a discounted fee, but you don't get a medal and a t-shirt. To be honest, I'm not a big medals person. Like, I know a lot of people really like them. They just sit in like a drawer or in a box somewhere. So didn't lose any sleep over not getting a medal. And then the t-shirt was a long sleeve cotton t-shirt, which I don't know, I feel like they never fit me right. So I didn't want to risk it. So I just said, hey, I'll save some money and just have a race entry. So you still get access to obviously the race, but also like the food and stuff afterwards. So I thought that was a really good deal. That's a great idea. More races should offer that option. But I put my bib on. I was able to go warm up downstairs inside. They had a basement area, which had plenty of room for stretching. I headed outside. I definitely headed out way too early. It was freezing cold. Like I said, about 11, 12 degrees at the start of the race time. I went out about 10 minutes before the race, which just feels right. Like the race starts in 10 minutes. You better head to the starting line. Well, I should have waited about 5 minutes because I just kind of stood there out in the open with everybody nervously sort of pacing around. They had a prayer and then a national anthem. And then the race kicked off. 3, 2, 1. My favorite part of the Volkslauf and the Winterlaufe is the cannon that starts. It's like a tradition for these races. It is a comically small cannon. I wish I would have got a better picture of it, but comically small, but very, very loud. I ran by it and I literally laughed. It's like the funniest like little cannon and a bunch of smoke comes out. It's super loud. I don't know. I think it's awesome. I love the cannon. Long live the cannon at the start of the race. I told myself I didn't want to start too fast. And what did I do? I started way too fast. I kind of had to pull it back. It's always hard to like slow down because your brain is like, you're going way too slow. The reality is I didn't have the physical fitness to keep that pace for longer than like, I don't know, half a mile. So I started out really hot and then I got reeled in, which is always a discouraging thing when people are passing you left and right. I was out of breath for the first 2 miles. It wasn't a great experience. So I just tried to like enjoy it, tried to laugh, tried to take in the sights. There are plenty of sights, like you go out into the country so you can look at like the barns and the farms and like, I don't know, it's a cool race. It was sunny, the first sunny day in what felt like forever. So despite the fact that I could not catch my breath, I was enjoying myself. I was having fun out there. So I did see a guy running with the spikes. I'm not sure if he had the Yak Trax spikes that I've talked about in previous videos, but essentially they're something you put on the bottom of your shoes so you can run on snow and ice. And we were running on pavement and I was like, what on earth is this guy doing? Talk about overkill. What are we doing here? Like, do you know that there wasn't like a snowstorm last night? Little did I know that the race actually took place partially on a dirt road that was covered in snow. So as I'm like, oh, look at this guy, you know, what is he thinking? I very quickly, I think probably about 2 miles into the race, realized, oh, maybe I need something with a little more traction. So like I said, it was a dirt road covered in snow, which is very fun to run in, but I didn't have the best traction in the Alpha Flies. I definitely would have had terrible traction in the Invincibles, so I'm very glad that I ran in the Alpha Flies. I didn't slip at all, but it was like, it was touch and go for a little bit. I probably should have worn my Pegasus Trail 3s instead of the Alpha Flies, but you live and you learn. I had no idea. I'm sure I could have done a little more research and found out that there is some off-road elements to it. So anyway, you go out like on this dirt road, kind of in the woods. You cross this like cool old bridge, which I thought was really fun. And then you do a turnaround. They had like a little fire pit and some people cheering you on, which there's just something about like running a race on snow with like a little fire pit, you know, the smell of like a fire. Did the turn, and then you go back the same exact way that you came. I started to get a little bit of a second wind, probably around like mile 3.5-ish. Started to feel good. Nobody was passing me. I started to kind of gain some ground on a couple people that had passed me, so felt good towards the end. Finally had like caught my breath. I crossed the finish line, happy with my time for sure. It was funny. It's the most anticlimactic finish line I think I've ever been to because it was just so cold. I think people crossed the finish line and then like ran inside to get into the warmth and out of the cold. You cross the finish line and then you walk back into sort of the downtown and into the Bavarian Inn restaurant, sort of race HQ. Again, it was like dead silent on my way back. So it was a very strange but calming feeling. I kind of liked it. It was kind of nice that there weren't people at the end of the race, like in the chute, like yelling at you, keep moving, keep moving. Like that's my ultimate pet peeve. People who are not absolutely physically and mentally exhausted are telling you to like, don't stop, don't put your hands on your legs, you gotta keep moving. It's like, okay, let me not pass out here. How about that? So I did not run into that, so that was very nice. So I got in, it was warm, the people were like super friendly. That's like classic Frankenmuth, just very friendly people. They had water, they had milk, they had chocolate milk, they had pizza, they had bananas, so a really great situation. The pizza was great, and I got a prime seat right in front of the stage where the trophy presentation would happen, you know, just in case my moment came. And one of the people from the race posted a QR code with the results. I looked up the results, and I got third in my age group. So at that point, I texted my wife and said, all right, I'm coming home, and I got out of there. So, you know, no disrespect to anybody who won, but I wanted to get home as quickly as possible. And if I wasn't going to collect one of the trophies, I'm probably going to leave. So anyway, overall, awesome race. I loved it. I definitely will do it again. It's a great race. If you haven't run the Winterlaufe, I highly recommend it. The race is well run, it's well organized, it's chip timed, so it's like an official race. There was some really good competition, some really fast runners. Also, shout out to Adam, a subscriber of the Fresh Run Club, who's actually at the race. Looks like he had a good time, so pretty cool when other members of the Fresh Brew Run Club go on to do great things in official races like the Winterlaufe. But again, highly recommend this race. Very well run. It has all you want in a race, plus an element of off-road winter fun. So that is the video for today. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you soon. Check that out, that's cool.